Hi, I'm Alex, and this is my NUN experience. Growing up in a small suburb outside of Boston gave me a tight sense of community and a place to belong. But being so sheltered for most of my life made me more eager to try new things after high school. If you had told me a year ago that I would be going abroad to London for my first semester and attending Northeastern, I don't think I would have believed you. Going to college was going to be a huge adjustment, never mind moving overseas for 3.5 months. While saying goodbye to my family and friends was one of the hardest things I've had to do, it was time for a new chapter in my life.
It feels a little worse than when we drove our hearse right through the...
Mind the gap.
They made a statue of us.
When I first arrived in London, I wasn't sure what to expect. This was the first time we've been given full responsibility for ourselves, and while I was nervous, I couldn't wait to get acquainted with our new home, South Kensington.
Blow bubbles with their gum, take photographs of fun, have fun.
Our classes were held at the Foundation for International Education, about an 8-minute walk from our flats. While we were academically challenged with schoolwork, much of our time was spent outside the classroom experiencing all London has to offer. School-funded excursions allowed us to see London in its whole as we viewed Parliament, Tower Hill, and the Museum of London, as well as diverse areas like Brick Lane and Camden. We experienced London's diversity through eating a traditional Turkish meal and visiting a mosque with our Islam class, as well as viewing more touristy attractions with our British Life and Cultures class.
Well, last night I couldn't sleep.
A huge component to our time in London was community service. Every Monday, I was fortunate enough to work at the Venture Playground, both supervising and playing with kids ranging from ages 8 to 13. While saying goodbye to the kids was difficult, knowing that I made even just a small difference in their lives is reward in itself.
And I had no taste for talking.
Besides our weekly service, we volunteered at events such as the Great River Race and even held our own Halloween event for a small community at the Arbor. Our service here gave me a new perspective on what it means to be a global citizen.
With their bottles in their doorways, and I walk past the businessmen sleeping like babies in their...
We were able to explore quintessential British things both on our own and with the group. This included a production at the Apollo Victoria and a day trip to Hampton Court Palace. Although it seemed like we were just settling in, it was time for a new adventure. For October break, I traveled to Amsterdam and stayed with my friends at a youth hostel in the center of the city. I fell in love with the beautiful architecture, canals, and museums as much as I did with the food. After visiting the Anne Frank House and Botanical Gardens and seeing some crazy street performers, Amsterdam is a place I will never forget.
You want wild, there's an oyster, don't disappoint us, Tara. Now you can stand on your own 2 feet, you can lead me through the streets.
Our next excursion took us both to Stonehenge and the city of Bath.
While I'm off chasing my own dreams, and sailing around the world. Please know that I'm yours to keep.
We were able to step back in time and visit a Roman bath, and later in the day we got up close and personal with one of the 7 wonders of the world.
A piece of my heart dies, knowing that I may have been the cause. If you were to leave and fulfill someone else's...
While I've gained a new sense of independence, responsibility, and cultural awareness, the most important things I've gained here are new friendships. I couldn't ask for a better group of people to share this experience with. While transitioning to Northeastern will be a challenge, I know that we're more than ready to embrace it together. NU in England has made me a more adventurous, well-rounded person, and I'm proud to call London a second home.
Let's get rich and buy our parents' homes in the south of France. Let's get rich and give everybody nice sweaters and teach them how to dance. Let's get rich and build a house on a mountain, making everybody look like ants. From way up there, you and I, you and I.